Hey guys, it's Bella from Earth. How's everybody doing? Today I'm here with a lovely guest, Julie, and wanted to talk about the QHHT session that she and I experienced and how it's impacted her life. So, do you want to talk about how your experience was with the QHHT session?
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me, Nabel.
Yeah.
I have to say that I didn't come in with any expectations.
Great.
But one thing, it was difficult to come to terms with the fact that I was hearing these things in my own voice.
Yeah.
From someplace else, the place of high strangeness.
Yeah.
So it took me about a week and a half to really be able to internalize that this really was coming from someplace else, and that there's no, I even spoke in kind of like different voices.
Yeah,
I spoke differently for these. It was really wild, and so there was no way to really prepare for that,
Yeah. Well, I think that was the best thing that you could do. Anybody could do, actually, is not prepare at all, go in with no expectations, because then I've found that people that have these sort of expectations, they're the ones that walk away with, not being able to go into, the hypnosis. Yeah. So,
we talk ourselves right out of it.
Or you psych yourself up so much, because these people don't know what kinds of things do you experience, but what sort of past lives did you experience that you are willing to share with them?
We did too, because we had a nice long session. We covered a lot of information.
Yeah.
So the first one was a little boy, and it was strange because the instant I came into that life, I knew I was a little boy. But as we were exploring it, it was bizarre.
Yeah.
But so I was a little boy, and which felt like England, and I started out looking at a huge golem statue. And that was very scary. And then I found out about my family.
Yeah.
With a loving mother and I guess an abusive father.
Yeah.
And I ended up getting married.
Yeah.
And had a boy. And later on had a granddaughter.
Yeah.
And loved her to bits. And
yeah.
It was very interesting.
Yeah.
It was very interesting. And I got to experience the afterlife, which I said was okay. Because I was missing my family.
Yeah.
But it was the second one, second life.
Yeah. That one was really cool.
You just can't make this stuff up.
No. I did want to mention, though, that while you were the boy or the man from England, as a practitioner, you kind of, Dolores Cannon tells you to expect the unexpected and to not, as well, don't have any expectations. Don't think that any of these sessions are going to be the same, because you can literally be anywhere, do anything.
Yeah.
But during that life, what really, I froze up a little bit was when, as the man, you were seeing, I think your mom pass away, and you were literally, crying and you were yelling. I thought you would wake up from the hypnosis, but seeing that and how you were, really crying, I was like, wow. And I felt like a big release as well.
Yes.
So it's it was really amazing to watch. But anyway, okay.
Which is interesting, because I'm not going to say I don't love my mother, but I don't know if I'd have that kind of reaction with her.
Yeah.
Just because we're very different and we just don't have that kind of relationship.
Right.
But to experience that through someone else, boy, the heartbreak.
Yeah.
That was.
Yeah. And of course, the second life that we touched upon was
an alien. That was a wonderful surprise.
Do you remember? Because I think I was able to get so much information. Do you remember the name?
Actlar on Naimba. Yeah, I remember.
So the planet was, what was it?
Naimba.
Naimba. Okay.
Yeah, Actlar. I remember you enjoyed saying those things too.
Yeah.
You're like, how cool is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was wonderful. I got to actually see what I look like. I had I remember the 3 long fingers with the little nodules, and I just, now that I look back on it, I was so peaceful. I was really at peace with it. Like, it was unlike anything
Yeah.
that I've had in this experience.
Yeah.
And, like, that oneness and that, like, how supported you were, and it was something to really carry with me.
Yeah. Yeah. It was, I don't know if I knew from the beginning that it was kind of like an alien experience. But I remember from the session, I remember asking you, like, because I asked, like, what is your role? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And then I remember asking, how do you eat? Do you remember what you said?
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, and you just can't make this stuff up.
Yeah.
And I was like, you eat through light. That it was because we were more like plants. We were a humanoid plant, and we ate through light. And we said that sound was also light. So we sang songs, that everything sang a song.
Yeah.
And through our songs, we received like spiritual food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then what was your role as Aklar?
I think he was kind of like a scout. That he was, I call it a he, but it really wasn't.
Yeah. I don't think they were like gendered.
And so he was marking down in like a journal the different, very bizarre, cool, beautiful plants, but through their changes, he could tell how the planet was doing, and so he was supposed to bring information back to like a council.
Yeah.
And they would decide together what needed to be done, but
That
everyone
is
was all connected, and
Yeah.
no one was ever alone, and it was a really
Yeah. Everybody had their duty.
yeah.
And I remember hearing language, like, what is it what does it sound like? Because you were saying, like, I'm listening, right?
The songs you asked.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I get to experience these things through people. So it's like, yeah, if I know a person is really, really, really deep enough that I can ask certain questions, Dolores Cannon says that they're left-sided questions, the analytical, like we were talking about earlier. Because a lot of people, if they aren't used to meditating and just allowing themselves to be deep in trance, if you ask them certain left-sided questions like, what's your name, where are you, they kind of come out of that trance. But with you, I knew you were deep enough that I can ask, like, well, what's the name?
Yeah.
And what does that song
Yeah.
sound like?
Oh,
Just so that I can experience that, because that's pretty cool.
I've actually tried to like sing like that.
Really?
Yeah, like at night or something. Just
do you remember how it?
A little bit, yeah. But it's so bizarre. But like basically, like I feel like I'm close to home.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
It's so cool.
It's just nice. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a really cool experience. And then so then we brought in your higher self, which wasn't really your higher self. It was like your higher counsel.
Yeah.
The session was really amazing. But
yes. Yeah.
What can you remember from that, or what was, I guess, if you've had the most profound thing? Yeah.
It was just, there was so much there.
Yeah.
And I've listened to my session like at least 100 times, because like there's just so much information, and then like you kind of question it, and you look for it, and where do you go to even cross check? I mean, you just gotta wing it. So, but there was a definite presence of like authority and of love, a deep sense of love that I don't feel all the time. So it was special.
Right. Right.
Amaya.
That's the.
Oh, I don't know if it was Amaya or Amaya, but yeah.
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 I forget what her role was. I think she was she in charge of the council?
Head. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Head of the council for you.
And she came through and showed me what I really was and who I am. And
you were crying for that.
Yeah, I don't
and
remember.
Then
I had no idea what they showed me. I don't know.
So I think what was your question? Like what am?
Who am I? What am I? What am I really?
Yeah, and so they were like, you know, we do better by showing her.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden, you know, you're quiet. You're like still. You aren't moving, and then you just start crying. And then like I started tearing up, and I was like, oh my god, like I don't know what's going on, but this is really beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a lot of beautiful moments.
Yeah. So now how has that impacted your life? I mean, how does your life look different because of that QHHT session and everything that you've learned from your higher counsel?
Yeah, I'm still learning.
Still learning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think getting to know your purpose is probably one of the most profound reasons to do a QHHT session.
Yeah.
Is to learn, because I learned that I am transmuting energies and that I'm healing with all of the unconditional love from all my past lives. And
Yeah.
I mean, how beautiful is it to know who or what you are, and you know, it's not that you have to worry about what you're doing, because I think we're all doing it just by being here.
Yeah.
But it was wonderful to have the sense of being aware of it.
Yeah.
To carry it, you know.
Yeah.
That was huge.
Yeah.
And then I started receiving these downloads. I had been, but this time they were feeling really big in my chest. Like whatever they had done to me in the session, whatever adjusting energies or just coming through had opened me up, cleared some, like a channel almost.
Yeah.
So as I was receiving this information, one time I started speaking some light language.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
And then I talked to some people who spoke light language and find out that that's not uncommon, that sometimes people will go through a session and then a couple weeks later start to receive different kinds of light information.
Yeah. Well, what are you supposed to do with that information? Like, do you feel like you're supposed to like record it and like have people listen, or just what do they want you to do? Have you found out?
Whenever I try to find out, people are just, I mean, it's like I want to hear what other people have to say, but I feel like it's also really important what I feel in my heart. That's almost more important. You know, like they made me feel like, I don't want to say this, but like they made me feel like I was bad for, like not spiritual, for wanting to know where it came from, or maybe like I was wondering if I was connecting with like an off-worlder, or you know, I don't think they understood my question really. It's like, how do you ask questions when you're not even sure what's really happening to you?
Yeah.
So I find that I just, instead of worrying about that and asking much of questions, I just allow it to connect me to what is in the moment. Like I mean, it's the best way to go. You know, like you said about having expectations, and sometimes that can shut you off,
yeah.
or set you up in a way that it would have been better if it was left unchanged. Yeah. So I felt like going over to the park, and I did, and then all of a sudden I felt like touching the water, and I spoke some light language into the water and to the land, and I felt like I was being called to kind of heal the area. So I know it sounds really bizarre, but
no, it doesn't.
I
love it.
It felt good. It felt good. And then I started singing light language at night. And I find that I feel like that even makes me feel closer to home than the Acklar.
Yeah.
Like when because I sing songs that I've never heard before.
Is that inspired, or do you just like do you feel like doing it at a certain point, or is it just like you just start doing it? Does that make sense?
The first time I received the light language, it filled up my whole chest space. I got hot, and I had to move around, and it felt like this. It just feels like your chest gets kind of filled up.
Yeah.
And you just got to do something, you know. And I was doing some mudras, and it just flowed through. But ever since then, I find that I can go to it, like that. Now that I've had my first, light language was download, that now I can access it as I want to. Nice. I just kind of go to my heart space, and sometimes it comes through, so I can bless my water.
Yeah.
Or, things like that.
That's so beautiful. I love that.
It's just connecting with your soul. I think like that's what the light language is. It's a soul connection, a soul language.
Yeah.
And it has power, and it can help other people to heal.
Yeah.
You know.
So do you feel like QHHT kind of helps in closing the gap between you and maybe the unknown, your higher self, things like that? Does it?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, because maybe you had some feelings, but you weren't really sure how it would feel to connect with that within yourself. Maybe you weren't sure of where that would take place. So after the session, I could actually, instead of thinking, that it was just my voice or that it was just a thought that I had, I could feel within my body or my mind that I was receiving this information, and that it has more validity for me.
Yeah. So it made you like kind of trust in what you were.
Yes.
Yeah. So like, I'm not going crazy.
No, because when you listen back, it's just the things that come through. You might question whether it's really coming from you or somewhere else, but it is coming from you. It's coming from this higher aspect of you. So it's normal for it to feel like it's coming from you, but you can trust it. And later when you listen, you can hear how it's coming from a different place, that it has a different character, that it helps you to connect to that other aspect of yourself, that it's a definite bridge.
Yeah.
It's a definite bridge.
I know that you said you had no expectations, but was there one thing that really surprised you, or kind of shocked you, throughout the whole thing, but more importantly, like about your higher self, your counsel? Was there anything that you learned or experienced with them that you were like, wow, I didn't know that was like that?
They were saying such nice things, and it was hard to hear, because I just don't think of myself that way. Saying things like that, I am unconditional love, or that, things like that I am the gift, and those things were hard to hear.
Yeah.
But it was also, I knew it was coming from a place of love, and that's what eventually helped me to receive that message.
Right.
Yeah.
That was.
It's like, how do you carry on? It's like, you're a queen, walk, girl,
Straighten your crown.
That's right. But I think that's a message for everyone, that if you are a woman or even a man, that you do have the divine within you. And
yeah.
The QHHT session is a good way to connect to that aspect, the divine aspect of yourself.
Yeah, it really was. It was awesome to experience. Just wondering, totally fine if you don't feel comfortable. Could you do like light language to kind of show an example, or maybe the playing?
Sure, I can.
Okay.
Just gonna, like I said, I just go to my heart space to get to it.
Thank you so much for doing this.
Hana kasata kara katachara, una kala katsiga, uncha katata satana. Ha satakara makala katina makotata katala la sanana katatana. We makasana hana shikatatana, wala la kasatatana. Uena kasamumanda katina, akasala hasawana nikata. Ula makasana tatalmasha.
Thank you. I always have to close my eyes, but I just feel like I'm receiving. Thank you. Do you feel the purpose of what you're saying? Like, is it like, oh, this is meant to heal, or this is meant to, or is it like this? Is it all? I don't know if I'm wording that correctly.
It's always uplifting.
Okay.
It's always a message of hope.
Okay.
It's always hope. Love, hope, strength. Those seem to be the common. It's meant to uplift and to awaken people to the memory of themselves.
That's so awesome. Because intuitively, it's like it's almost like a reflex, like a reflex. Like as soon as you do that, or as soon as I hear that, I just immediately like close my eyes, sit in like appreciation and just like receive. So I didn't know if it was like,
Yes, I think when something comes from the soul, you don't need the eyes.
yeah.
You don't.
Oh, that's beautiful.
You don't need the ears either. That when it's light language, it's called light language because it's light information,
Right.
and I believe it gets right to the person that it needs to, and delivers the message
Yeah.
that needs to be heard. That's
Yeah.
what I perceive it to be, and what you perceive it to be may be completely different, and that's okay.
Yeah. I always, I feel it here, like.
Yeah, that's where it's coming from. So
Yeah.
I think it's proper for it to be received there. Yeah.
That's so awesome.
Yeah. It's like a transmission right from my heart to someone else's.
So now, how did you have like these sort of light language downloads before the QHHT? And if not, if it only happened like after QHHT, was it after listening to the recording a few times, or like how did it come about?
I had been doing mudras, and I think that was that's like when they make the symbols and things like that from like a lot of Buddhas and things like that.
Yeah.
I didn't know what that was about. That was a question that we had.
Yes.
And they said I was using those to transmute energies.
Yes.
So I had never received light language. In fact, I'd watched people do it and like, that looks nutty.
Yeah.
What is that?
This person's crazy.
But I was willing to accept it, and I tried watching things to see if I could receive what it was. And I'd have to say that I don't know if it had anything to do with how many times I'd listened to the session. It's just that because it happened, I think about a month later.
Okay.
Roughly a month later.
Okay.
Because it's not that long ago.
No, that we did this.
Yeah,
No.
and it just I started receiving these chest pressure. So the first time I think I just did it with energetic. I didn't do anything. The second time it happened, I did the mudras. I gave people like a mudra one, and then the third time it came through with language. It was just like building up, and like, you know, like you gotta get over that discomfort or whatever you have blocking you.
Yeah.
We want you to receive this.
Yeah.
So it's, you know,
Beautiful.
don't be afraid.
No.
Don't be afraid.
Right, because even people on the spiritual path, people that are more aware or awake than others, they can still not be open to this kind of things. And there's always that fear in us, right? Like, I don't want to look cuckoo.
I was brought up Christian, Catholic, so just the idea of like channeling was like, that's the devil. Yeah. And through my own growth and experience, I realized that like channeling really was happening because I was receiving information. I was receiving, you know, like, you are loved. It's time to awaken now. It's time to attune and ascend, and you know, little things in my mind, but never really actually channeling them. But it wasn't a far stretch, and I found that it helped me to come to terms with what was happening to me, because there's no answer for that in any of the Bible that I could find that would tell me what was happening to me. So yeah, I was kind of forced to, you know, and it was good. It helped me to grow, and I don't think I could have received the information from the QHHT session unless I had come to a point that I had. You know, it's if you bring a lot of fear with you, you know,
into this session.
Yeah, I think just know that you're connecting with yourself. You're safe, and you're not going to connect with something that you shouldn't.
Right.
It's you're literally just having a conversation with yourself, and it's okay.
I think, speaking of fear, I think that some people fear what they might find or they might experience through these past lives.
Yeah. Like when I was crying because I saw my mother dying.
Right.
As the boy, it was like it was really happening, but you let me know that I could just look at it and that it was okay. It was okay. I could be present and not have to connect with it as if it was happening again. And so you don't have to be afraid. You don't have to be afraid of what you might experience, because you really are safe. They're just like memories and information from your higher self to help you to come to whatever realization you need, or to gain clarity, connection.
Yeah. I did want to ask you this thing. I just thought of it, but it's such a good question. Looking back at your QHHT session and everything that you've learned from it, how much does our lives, past lives, influence us today?
Right. Well, I can only speak for myself. I carried quite a heavy load. They told me that they allowed me to carry memories from my past, that it was important for me so that I could carry the unconditional love as well that I carry. And apparently I've experienced a lot of really traumatic lives. So I would often experience them as like nightmares, revisit them as nightmares and things like that. Very bizarre.
Yeah.
It depends. Some people feel that they shouldn't connect with their past lives because they need to pay attention to what's happening now. And I think it depends on who you are. If you can look at it and say, well, it's a possibility I brought something over. Maybe I can heal that now. Maybe I can heal that. Yes, I'm living in the now. But some people do bring things over.
Yeah.
You know, I had fear of my father as a little boy because he was just so loud, big, and so when my boyfriend would get loud, I would feel like I was like afraid, even though he wasn't angry at me. He was just venting, to a person that he trusted, and I realized that I was connecting the two, and I hadn't realized it, and I was actually able to heal that. Yeah. So I would say that connecting with past lives can be a big benefit, as long as you don't try to. You say it's okay to leave that life there and let them continue, and we'll move on. We'll gain what we need and move on, and that's the right mindset
approach. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What I've learned through doing these a few times, these sessions, is that good and bad, we take a lot of things. We keep a lot of things stored in just in us. Yes. That things that we don't even think of, but as you said, if somebody has like a louder voice and maybe you're afraid, or you just don't know why, and then look, I think good and bad, like good things, bad things, we take from past lives, and it does require you to go back and to heal.
Well, the good news is that you get shown what you need to see.
Right.
Yeah, so it's not like you're just going to visit every painful memory you ever had, or you're not looking to be traumatized. It's bringing things up for you to reflect on or to heal.
Yeah.
I found it to be very beneficial.
Yeah. How do you feel like you've experienced a lot of healing because of this? Like you've been able to kind of just...
It's hard to put a lot of that into words. It's just such a bizarre... It's high strangeness, but it takes time to internalize. I think I'm still internalizing some of it, and I think each person will take different things. So I was able to learn why some things were happening to me. I was able to delve into things that no one seemed to be able, that you couldn't ask anyone else, hard to get answers to. I tried to ask if I was Native American. They said, honey, that's not important.
Really?
Like, you have a universal heritage, so get over it. Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't they say that too? Like
pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look. So
not important.
Yeah. It's really, don't get caught up.
Yeah.
You don't even know everything that the DNA even is. Like,
right.
You don't even understand. Yeah. Don't worry about it.
Don't try to.
Yeah. You're all one, so just get over it.
It said that, like, humanity is your race or something like that. Didn't it say that?
You have a universal heritage.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Yeah. Did it shock you how they sounded, your counsel?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's like different characteristics come through.
Yes.
For each, like the boy spoke very, very soft and small. Even when he was grown up, it was still small.
Yeah.
And then when the alien came through, it was like he spoke with different words.
And it was very cut off, like.
Yeah. Like light, sound, vehicle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nodules. Yeah. Sensory. Yeah. Oh, it
Human
was.
Don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. So that when the council came through and they had like this authority and everything was dripping with love from like the very first to the very end. I found that like it. I'm like, yes, I'm a loving person, but this came from somewhere else, and like it even more important than what they were saying was like the message of love and support that I could take with me.
Yeah. And I feel like that's, for the most part, what these sessions try to, because I feel like we're just missing that. And I feel like for most of the sessions that people have been able to be hypnotized, that's, I think, the primary thing that they try to teach us and try to show you is that, listen, you're love, you come from love. Don't forget that. You've forgotten it, but listen, we're here saying don't forget it.
Forget ayahuasca, just do this.
Yeah.
I guarantee it.
Pretty much.
You can have this experience without having all that other, side effects.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I think that I was surprised with like their sense. You just feel, not to say that I'm small in comparison with them, but you just, oh man, for me, hearing that coming through a client, you can, I don't know, I feel small compared to their grand presence. And it's not like I'm not trying to put myself down. It's just like, wow, like, that they come from like, these are high people. These are like, they speak with authority. Yeah. There's like I think that I've had, because some of them do have like personalities that are like, one is funny, one is humorous. But I would say for the most part that I've experienced, they haven't been. They're just like, no, like, we're loved. We're speaking with authority. We know this and that. And it was just like, I don't know, it just fosters a sense of respect and admiration. I'm just like, wow, I really get to do this.
And that they're looking at us like that.
Yeah.
And they're looking at us like, wow, I'm in the presence of this human being who's took all this on. Yeah. And is doing this wonderful work. Yeah. I feel like it's mutual. Yeah. Just as we feel like that we get to be in their presence, that they feel the same about us. Yeah.
Now, I don't remember, was there a reason why the higher council came through versus your higher self?
I don't know. I think they did because they talked to me and they wanted me to know that, I think they just wanted to have a voice, that I've always heard them ever since I was a little girl. Yeah. Telling me things and giving me information. And it was tough. I always felt like I was loved, even though I grew up in a highly traumatic experience. I felt like, even though I couldn't see them, that I knew that they were there. Yeah. And it was like a great relief. And to finally be able to hear their message clearly, I felt like it was important for them to come forward so I could really hear what they had to say. Yeah. Yeah.
And I know I shouldn't, like, not that I'm comparing or anything, but usually it's just the higher self, never a council. And again, I shouldn't even say that because all these, the sessions are different.
Prepare to be surprised.
Right. I was but it was really cool, the fact that, and they said that everybody has a council, right? Everybody has, yours was like a 5-person council, right? Yeah. I'm not sure if that's the same for everybody, but
no way.
Yeah. Yeah. But that was really awesome.
That was very cool.
Yeah, any last things that you want to tell people before we say adios, sayonara?
I mean, there's so much to say. There's so much
Go for it, girl.
I would highly recommend having a QHHT session. You don't have to have doubts about where you are in life or how you're doing. Sometimes it's just nice to connect with other aspects of yourself, that it's a loving, healing, growing experience. And if it feels like something that you want to do, you should connect with it. Yeah, then it's meant for you. If it doesn't come into your awareness, then you're not ready, and that's okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, who wouldn't want to
Right.
dip into who they are and have a greater understanding of what you're doing and how you're thinking, and it's a beautiful experience.
Yes, it was. It was truly beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for speaking to me.
And thank you.
I'll see you guys later. Bye.